There you go. Kick something over. I love it.
As soon as you start the video, kick something, make a loud noise.
God, that's exactly what I do. Okay, so we got some base work I'm going to be doing over here for my Primaris army. And we got a custom chapter you're working on for a commission kind of thing?
Kind of, sort of. But whoops. I didn't want that to happen.
Copyright.
And let me just turn the volume off on my iPad so I can actually see when we get people in. I can follow along with the stuff. Now, a buddy of mine, he wants to get his kids involved in World of Warcraft. Jesus, it's been a long week. Yeah, that's how long my week's been. In Warhammer, and I took and he bought an army. There we go. Now I can actually see the the live chat.
Oh, yeah,
gotcha. Now my buddy is a huge Georgia Bulldogs fan, so we worked up this is like the third iteration of this chapter. So I'll show y'all what I did. Sadly enough, this is what I came up with using Sharpies that I had sitting around the counter at the shop.
It works, man.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a fairly basic system, but I figured I'd show y'all how I did this. Trying to remember the website I got this from. I want to say it's chainswordandbolter.com or something like that.
Bolter and chainsword?
Yeah, something like that. It's if you Google search Space Marine color scheme template, this pops up. I stole my daughter's color pencils because being the person I am, I don't usually own color pencils. So just show y'all kind of what we came up with.
Now, do you do this for every army, Marine-wise at least?
When I do my own custom stuff, or when I work up artwork for other people, yeah. Because like when I'm painting these, sometimes I forget what it looks like, so I just tape this up to the back of my painting desk.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So I can just look up there and reference, because like all the helmets for if you follow the Codex Astartes, I should have white helmets for heavy weapons squads, and I should have red for something else and whatnot, or depending on what you're dealing with. Some unit or some chapters are devised that way.
Yeah, white for Ultramarines are like veterans or veteran sergeants, Stern Guard, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so what I did with this one, your standard tactical helmet's going to be a red. And then Devastator is going to be split red-white, red to the left, or if you're looking at it, that person's right, my left. White on the other side. The assault squads are going to be reversed. Sergeants are going to be red helmets with the white stripe down the middle. Lieutenants, the opposite of that, white helmet with a red stripe. Captains and commanders are going to be solid white helmets.
That's pretty cool.
Lieutenants are going to have all their pauldrons are going to be red, except for lieutenants and captains. They're going to have their left shoulder pauldron is going to be white. And their chapter, because they're Georgia Bulldogs fans, has a white G for their chapter logo. Yeah, copyright NCAA.
That's a white G. No one can copyright the letter G.
Yeah, they try.
Yeah, you're right. Who that?
Exactly.
Yeah, remember that whole debacle?
Yeah, trying to copyright the Florida Lee is like, that's 400 years of history. I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah.
But then we trimmed everything in black. Boots black, belt black. I pulled up the University of Georgia's current football uniforms, and I based it off of the uniform coloration patterns.
That's cool.
The only thing I thought about doing it where the lieutenants and the captains would be based on the home uniform, the white home uniforms. Then I was like, no, I don't feel like painting white scars.
Ooh, painting white is well. Have you tried the White Scar contrast paint?
No, I have not.
I'm sure it makes it easier, but white is still an intimidating process.
The white on here is Krylon flat white.
Oh, I love it.
It works beautifully. And believe it or not, and if you look at it closely, you can tell the difference. But if you don't, It's really not that far off. The white that's on here is actually Corax white, the
Yeah.
new base white out of the pot.
It's a little bit of a gray tint to it in
Mhm.
comparison.
So I'm gonna just kind of highlight it with
White Scar or whatever?
white. It's either White Scar.
Ceramite.
It's Ceramite used to be the old base.
I've been in this so long.
White Scar.
White Scar. Yeah. The names. I think they do it because like copyright or whatever. Their patent runs out or
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, the red here. This is the Blood Angel red contrast. That's it.
Yeah, it looks good.
No highlights on that whatsoever. The only downside I've found to it so far,
Contrast, that is.
or at least the contrast paint with these guys, wherever my fingers rub, like when you used to paint white, it would turn colors based on your oils in your hands and stuff like that.
I remember that.
But here, I'm actually, you can look and see up here on the top of the halo and the bridges where I'm actually rubbing the contrast off, and it's exposing the white underneath it. It was upsetting me at first, and then I looked at it, I was like, you know what? It's built-in weathering. I don't have to weather this now.
So you say the contrast rubs off easily?
Well, on this base it does, but it's only on the hard edges where your fingers touch.
And the base was the crawling white?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it, now I can't say that it rubs off easily because I haven't tried it on GW's base.
Yeah.
But on Krylon flat white, it does.
Gotcha.
And I think that's mainly because this really wasn't designed to work with the contrast.
So my question is, how much validity is there truly to them saying we've formulated this to work with this? I mean, do we believe that? I mean, I'm kind of skeptical.
I'm skeptical too. I'm just not willing to spend $20 to test it.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, these guys are almost done. I just got to highlight some white on them and then clear them, and I'm done with these guys.
It's awesome, man.
So, I mean, these guys took, honestly, I've been kind of dicking around with them and not really forcing myself to work on them for a while.
Yeah.
They were just white with accents of red for a long time. And then I sat down, I was like, you know what? I got to do the black today.
Yeah, but see, in your mindset, a long time was like 2 days.
This is true.
Yeah, okay. See, my mindset is I'm still working on Dark Vengeance stuff. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm adding washers to my bases. The way I do that, I just throw hot glue down, drop the bases onto the washer. That way the washer is guaranteed to be flat with the board that's going to be on. This does a lot of things. It adds a lot of weight to the model, so they tend not to knock over as much. But I also use magnet sheets in my transport boxes. These magnet sheets will hold those washers in place, and basically I just magnetize my whole army with a $1 magnet sheet and $2 worth of
Not
washers.
sponsored by Frost King, but we'll take free.
No, Frost King, these are designed to go up on AC vents that you don't want blowing anymore and just cover it up. But for our purposes, it works wonders.
Yeah.
They're not the strongest magnets in the world, but instead of trying to buy a metal sheet to put in your box and then a bunch of neodymiums or rare earth magnets to magnetize your whole army with green stuff, and this is a washer, some hot glue, and we're good to go. I'm gonna let those set, and then I peel them off, and we're good.
I can attest the metal sheets in the bottom of the box, even using 16 gauge, gets it a little heavy.
It's getting great.
I think what I did my first 4 with that, I added almost 2 pounds to the weight.
Yeah.
And on a plastic handle, that's really not the best thing in the world.
Yeah, and if you're looking to travel with an army to gaming and stuff, like, I don't want to lift it.
No.
I'm not that guy. But then that's that. Set it down. It's good to go. Now, it's really cool too. Is like wobbly model syndrome.
Yeah.
I have put models in terrain almost at like a 75-degree angle, and they not fall over. Is that modeling for advantage?
I don't
You know
think
what? Yes. Am I gonna fight it? Yeah. But that's primarily the goal there. And then yeah, so base, magnet sheet. There it is. Happy base.
Yeah.
So.
And for those of y'all wondering what we use to transport our models, we go to Hobby Lobby or Big Lots or whatever, and they have these little trays. I think Big Lots is the one that has these for like $7 or $8 a
Yeah,
pop.
Big Lots is a better place.
Yeah, and we get this is the small one I use for when I'm just moving around little bits, but my armies are in the ones that are like 3 times that size.
Yeah.
And I can fit 2,000 points for the army, including vehicles, in 3 of them.
One of the things that I've been doing lately, Walmart, after Christmas time, they come out with these ornament storage boxes.
Oh, those are awesome.
Those are really nice. They're really cheap, and they are pretty amazing.
I think they're $7 or $8 a piece, and they're 4 inches deep or 5 inches deep.
Enough for a night laying down.
So, I mean, you can fit the big base models in there. You can fit any armored vehicle in there easily.
All of my custodian stuff's in there. The grav tanks, the Cronus, the big boy, they all fit in there. So it's, that's definitely awesome.
It'll fit everything GW makes. It may not fit some of the Forge World stuff, but I mean,
it doesn't fit my Bloodthirster. I've tried that one, but that's an awkwardly big model.
And he's got wings.
Yeah, exactly. But like height wise, they're all good.
I mean, heck, in 3 boxes, I fit almost 7,000 points of Grey Knights.
Yeah, those are where it's at.
I fit in 4 boxes. I fit my entire 14,000 points of Space Marines.
14,000 points.
Yeah, I figured it out one day.
Jesus. You know, I've never actually sat down and calculated mine, but it's probably up there.
Probably so.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I was just bored one day and I was like, you know what? I wonder how many points I've got.
Yeah, when you caught up with all your projects?
No.
You've caught up with, you were like probably one of 3 hobbyists in the universe that can actually say they caught up with projects.
Not right now, I can't.
Well, yeah, okay.
Because I've got, for my buddy, I've got the 5-star armies I'm working on for him. And I've still got half of my Sylvaneth army to do.
Jesus.
Which I want to do one day. One day, guys, I'll bring my full painted list of Sylvaneth right now. If you look at this Shadow Spear box, borrow your box for a second.
Yep.
My Sylvaneth painted army fills a box this size. And when I say fill, it's jam-packed. You can't fit another model in it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think I sent you a picture of it.
Yeah, you did. I was like, it depresses me so much how quick you get through stuff.
It's because some days, I mean, this is how I relax. So when I come home and I've had a stressful day, I send the kids to bed. The 2 youngest, I send to bed at 7.
Yeah.
When they're in bed, which my son, I'm really lucky with him. As soon as he's in his room, boom, he's out. And his room's the closest to where I paint. So as soon as he's in bed and asleep, I can go sit down and paint and not be disturbed.
That's awesome.
And my wife has learned, just leave me alone and let me paint. That's how I relax.
Yeah. I don't do that. I don't. I should, but I gotta like really be in the mood to work on stuff.
I've also found out it's a lot cheaper for me to paint than go to the gun range.
You know, I was actually thinking about doing that today.
What, going to the gun range?
Yeah. It's been a hot minute.
Believe it or not, when you text me, or when I texted you earlier, you text me back. I was actually with my dad over at the Castine Center.
Yeah.
At the Louisiana Coastal Waterfowl Carving Guild.
What?
They have their annual little expo and competition over at the Castine Center today.
Yeah.
It's nothing but people that carve wooden like decoys and birds.
There's not that many people that do that, is there?
Took the whole Castine Center.
Jeez. That's actually impressive.
Yeah, and dude,
surprising.
some of the work they did, if you didn't know it was a carved animal, you would think it was just holding really still.
They sell them and stuff too, I'm guessing?
Some of them do.
That's cool. So it's not just like a showcase. It's like vendors and stuff.
Yeah, there's vendors there.
That's cool.
Now, me being the hobbyist that I am, I went there, and as soon as I saw like the work tables and the tools and stuff like that, I'm like, I'm going over here, Dad.
Yeah.
He looks at me and goes, "You're looking for your hobby stuff, aren't you?" He's like, maybe.
It's like, yeah, I mean, a tool station's a tool station. I mean, some are definitely more suited to tasks, but
They had one I seriously thought about getting. The only problem was it was too small.
Yeah.
It was basically a little workbench that had a fan with a dust collector bag on the bottom of it. And I was thinking that would be an awesome downdraft table for when I airbrush.
That would be cool.
But I looked at the price tag and I'm like, nope. Box fan with a couple of AC filters on is a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I've used that before when priming indoors.
Mm-hmm.
Never prime indoors, use a well-ventilated area, yada, 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 yada. But yeah, box fan, you just put the filter on it, spray in front of it.
What's even better is if you can get the carbon filters and put that on the top layer, and it removes a lot of the odor.
Oh, man. We had an issue with that the other day. We were working on our dioramas, and one of the students had a lacquer-based automotive spray paint they used.
Ooh.
It was so bad. The smell was so bad.
Yeah, open the windows and air out the classroom.
Oh, the whole hall. It was a problem. And it's like I didn't know he was using that until it was already used.
And then you're like, well, what can I do?
Yeah, it's happening. Just damage control at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But those dioramas are coming together.
I do like them. I've seen quite a few of them when I go and teach that night class.
Yeah.
Is it bad that I judge your students?
No.
I go in there and I look and I'm like, this one's pretty good. This one's shit.
Well, yeah, it happens. But they're still learning.
Yeah, they're learning. So, I mean,
and that's a weird thing. I don't grade on perfection. I know, but
well, you shouldn't.
Especially in that environment,
yeah.
It's growth based in my mindset.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the one thing I do agree with, like some of the teacher evaluation tools they use.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of the teacher evaluation tools are based on growth of the student over the year.
And that's really what matters, Yeah. So I digress.
I hate the ones like there's one that they want me to do that's whether or not they pass an exam test. It's like that's not really a fair judgment.
Yeah, we were like that though. ACT, LEAP, SATs, etc., etc.
I mean, and the way my best analogy to the way the goofy way the schools or the evaluation for teachers is set up, it's like judging police officers based on the recidivism rate of criminals.
I've never heard it put quite so elegantly, but I've often said this. Evaluate me on my gradebook compliance, my lesson plans, my attendance, my supporting of extracurriculars and grants that I get.
Exactly.
Evaluate me on what a teacher does. And I know teachers teach and students learn, but like if you are solely evaluating a teacher on the merits of a student's test score,
it does not.
Some kids just aren't going to do well on a test. They're not test takers.
Right. I've got a couple of students, I'll tell you right now, they're smart as hell.
Yeah.
But they couldn't test their way out of a paper bag.
I was the same way. Like the ACT testing for me, that was hard. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't do the greatest, but I'm a moderately intelligent person, I think. I mean,
the only reason I did well on the ACT is my math and science sections. I mean, I'm a science nerd, so scoring a 35 on the ACT in the science section was not unheard of for me. Scoring a 36 or I think I scored like a 33 or 34 on the math section, not unheard of. Math and science go hand to hand.
Yeah.
My English, on the other hand, I can comprehend, I can understand stuff. I've got a vocabulary that's pretty amazing for what most people consider a country bumpkin. But I don't take English tests well, and I never have.
See, and that's another thing too, and it's an issue that I have. I am a slow reader. Not because I have difficulty reading, but because I read for enjoyment. I read to retain it. If I read it, I know it. But on a timed environment type test, it's not the best, So that was always hard for me. So I feel you on that.
Well, I love reading. I've read probably 3,000 to 4,000 books in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I've got a library at my house that's well over 800 books, and it's not just Jack and see Jack run kind of shit.
I will teach my dog 100 tricks.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've got the complete works of William Shakespeare. I've got. I actually took Shakespearean English as my humanities elective at LSU.
That makes no sense. You're in animal husbandry and you're learning about Shakespeare. Thus, through which window does thy cow fart?
Well, when you got to take a humanities class, you got to take a humanities class.
Yeah, you're right. That's just funny. Did you ever serenade a cow?
No.
Should have, man.
No, but I did tell the English. I did explain to a bunch of undergrads how Shakespeare, a lot of Shakespeare's plays, nothing but dick and fart jokes for the first 10 or 12 pages.
Oh yeah. I still don't think he wrote 90% of his work. I feel like he had like a company of people.
Oh,
it's like Edison. Edison was the same way.
Oh, Edison just straight up stole shit.
Yeah, but he had a company. He was the. Yeah. I'm sure. You know, I'm not trying to start a fight with anybody on the internet. I don't know how that's working out, but no.
I'll start the fight. I just don't care about it.
Yeah.
Like when I used to, I was taking poultry physiology with a professor that is now retired from LSU.
It is.
And so I'm not going to use his name, but I did love that professor to death. He was an awesome teacher. I wore a shirt one day that said, PETA, people for the eating of tasty animals.
That's legit.
My professor saw it in the middle of a lecture, stopped his lecture and goes, "You get an A for this week, sir."
Oh yeah, college. We're all learning real important things.
But it was interesting.
Yeah.
You went to LSU, right?
I did.
Were they still arguing? Because I know you were a few years behind me there.
Yeah, you old fart.
Yeah, I know. Were they still arguing about the LSU colored Confederate flag while you were there?
Nope.
Oh, man.
No, what their argument was they wanted to build an island at the LSU lakes to increase biodiversity, and the committee thought that it would just be an island for dirty things to happen on. So they refused to build it. And everyone was like, so you're saying in a college town full of bars, hotels, and dorms, kids are going to swim across a lake to get to an island? Are you kidding me? But the ducks need places to breed.
Yeah, they're probably accurate in that statement, though.
No. Well, there's so many easier ways to make things happen. Let's be
fair. This is true. There are easier ways.
I mean, if you want to be that guy, be like, yeah, let's swim across the lake. I don't think I've ever actually seen anybody swim in that lake to begin with.
I wouldn't.
And let's be fair. Kids nowadays, they're definitely not going to swim across a lake.
Have you seen what drains into the lake? Runoff from the roads around LSU. No, thank you.
Heck, you know, there's a lake over at my school.
Yes.
In the back, and it's the drainage or...
It's a retention pond, basically.
But it's also where the all the fecal matter and stuff goes. And people fish in that, and apparently the fish are great. But how come you don't play that?
I got one even better than that. Buddy of mine that I teach with went to La Tech. Well, a couple of his buddies in their fraternity would go out and they would catch frogs, and they would sell frogs' legs $1 a pair.
That's pretty cool. Only $1 a pair?
Yeah. And
catching a buttload of frogs.
Yeah. A bunch of people were trying to figure out, well, where are they catching these? Because they were bringing back big frog legs, like quarter-pound pairs. So one day, one of the guys decided to follow them. So he followed them to the Ruston City Waste Disposal and Septic Center.
Nice.
And watched them collect frogs from around the septic ponds at the facility.
Well, I mean, all kidding aside, I mean, catfish eat trash. I mean, still tastes good.
Yeah,
once it becomes frog meat, it's not poop anymore.
Nope.
I'll say this: I think the biggest frog I ever saw was legitimately the size of my foot.
Oh yeah,
I took a picture.
Monsters.
Oh yeah, it's the size of my foot.
I remember fondly back when I was in high school, I went to my cousin's house and they had the great idea, let's go frogging. So, yeah, no problem. Let's go. Get in the boat, little pirogue, we're paddling around the water. And my cousin, being the crazy coon ass that he is, decided it would be a great idea to grab the 3-foot alligator that was floating in the water in front of us and toss it in the pirogue with us.
That's awesome. 3-footer, that'll mess you up.
Yeah. Till his bigger cousin, quote unquote, me, picks that alligator up and throws it back at him.
You throw an alligator at another man? That's pretty legit.
Well, we were like 16 at the time, so.
Still,
I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations is expired on that.
Is that assault with a deadly weapon?
I don't know.
Or is that animal cruelty? How do we define this? Like, what would you write that as?
I don't know, but the alligator didn't hit him, unfortunately. He
Oh,
ducked.
you missed.
No, he ducked.
Man. Darn.
I'll tell you what, last night was a long freaking night.
What happened last night?
My FFA chapter worked the rodeo fairground at the parish fair. We worked the ticket booth and the concession stand last night.
Yeah, how was that?
It was pretty good. I got home about midnight last night.
Oh, jeez. You have never actually gone to the fair.
Well, a friend of ours whose chapter used to work, or still does work it, but he was getting tired of working it Friday and Saturday night because it gets a little hard on the parents to be there both nights.
Yeah.
So he called us up and offered it to us for Saturday night. I said, sure, no problem, we'll do it.
You guys get like funding for that or money for that? Or?
Well, we get whatever profit is made at the concession stand, we get to keep.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
then
nice.
and then we also did the ticket sales at the front of the rodeo. So we get paid by the rodeo company to do the ticket sales, a set amount of money. Well, at the end of everything, after we paid off it, all our supplies and all that, we cleared almost $800
Oh, wow, that's good.
for 6 hours of work.
That'll
I'll take it.
feed the animals and whatnot.
Well, no, what we're putting it towards is we're attending National FFA convention at the end of the month.
Transportation.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Well, there it all goes. That's immediate.
our alumni chapter gave us $1,200 to help cover the hotel rooms, so that the hotel rooms are covered. That's the big thing.
Well, hotels give you guys a break a little bit too, huh?
$133 a night per
That
room.
is not a break.
That is the rate that's actually the convention rate.
Wow.
Well, downtown Indianapolis during a convention. You ever try to get a hotel room in New Orleans during a convention? It ain't
True.
easy.
I don't know, but you think they'd work with students?
Nope.
Maybe, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Say they call me dreamer.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't cheap, but it was nice of them. So when I get to school tomorrow, I got to call and double check all my registrations and whatnot.
Yeah. So I got those done. Usually I use parchment paper that doesn't stick. I didn't have any. I used the aluminum foil. That did not work. The little glue stuck to it. I had to go and clean that up so it laid flat. These neck bases have these little pylons or caps or whatever you want to call them down here, and they offset, so you really can't get a washer flush in there. So you got to cut them out. In the past, I've used a Dremel to Dremel them down, but that's actually quite messy. Now what I do is I use a set of spruce nibs. Now these are too narrow for these pylons. I need to go upstairs and grab a wider set, and I will grab some parchment paper while I'm up there, and I will be right back.
Okay. Oh, what I'm working on that now is I'm just touching up little bits and pieces. I'm about to go through and do the belt work on the characters. So got the captain, the ancient. I got a couple others. I'll just pick them out one at a time and get them going. Try to get these guys wrapped up. Just got to work around them, trying to figure out what I'm going to do for some of the details here. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it takes time sometimes. You just got to go through. I'm trimming up Like on this knee pad where I have some red that bled over where it didn't need to be, I'm just kind of trimming, cleaning everything up so that it looks good. Granted, I'm not getting paid really to do these. I'm working a trade for him, so it's not a big deal. Oh, man. Do some of these little parchments that are sitting right here. See if I have my Xandri dust. No, I guess I left it at the house. Oh well, not a big deal. With this contrast paints, if I'm going to be painting for a while and I don't want to rub off any more paint than I absolutely have to, I'll slip on a little glove here. These are just little cheap gloves I picked up at Harbor Freight. They work really good for this, just doing little touch-ups. Now, the nice thing about contrast is you can pretty much wet blend it in. So if you missed a little spot and you got to come back to it, a lot of other colors, it'll leave a kind of a darker bridge to it. Well, if you just kind of gloss it or drag it across, it'll wet blend that coloration it back into it. So that works out pretty nice.
I'm back. No one missed me. It's cool.
It still freaks my students out that I'm such a big guy and I can move quietly in the classroom.
There's tactical 911 boots.
That's what it is.
5 of them, right?
These are actually Red Wings, but
Red Wings are good. I have Red Wings. I remember getting them, and I was doing the highway work.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of the guys were like, yeah, you get them fancy Red Wings, they're going to fall apart like any other boot on this asphalt. And I was like, yeah, probably. And it did.
Nah.
Right. What? Not sponsored by, but hit us up.
Yeah, believe me, I would take a Red Wing sponsor any day of the week. I probably wear these boots 360 days out of the year.
That's all right. I wear dress shoes to work. I'm that guy.
Yeah, well, occasionally I'll smell burning rubber as I go into the welding shop because.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying. Yeah, definitely. Your environment requires it. But so at my school, we don't have school uniforms, so I feel like I need to elevate a little more than normal. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Well, we don't have school uniforms either.
Really? Oh, huh.
No, us and Lakeshore are the only two that don't have it. We're the only high schools that don't have it, I should say.
Something blue.
No,
No, probably doesn't.
no, they don't. I thought they did.
I don't know. I just work here.
Yeah.
All right, time to start snipping.
Ag teachers, actually, if you look at the dress code for teachers, ag teachers are exempt from about half of it.
Oh, trust me. I know. And you know who else is exempt from half of it? Industrial arts teachers. I still do it, though.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. You're not in a wood shop every day.
No.
If you were in a wood shop, I guarantee you'd be wearing jeans and steel toe boots.
Oh, yes. Yes, I would be. And I would be very happy with that decision in life.
So, like
heck, doing these dioramas, trust me, I want to be in jeans in them too.
Mm-hmm.
You get like plaster on a pair of slacks, that sucks.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I wear, even though I don't have to, I still wear button-up kind of dressy shirts.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll either do that or I'll wear polos. It's not like I'm going to school in t-shirts.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
Now, occasionally, like if I'm welding outside, I'll take the polo off. I always wear a shirt underneath my overshirt. But then I put on like a fire-resistant shirt on top of that.
And that undershirt is cotton, right? Because it
Absolutely.
doesn't burn. Cotton, the fabric of our lives. Not sponsored by, but here's what they call it. I think it's funny that cotton has to have advertisements. Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
It's more of the cotton growers are doing it to take and promote their product so that people buy cotton instead of artificial blends.
Oh, like those polyesters and stuff.
Yeah. I don't do that because in my line of work, and you know this too, polyesters and synthetic fibers, they don't really burn, they more melt.
And they fuse to your body.
Yeah. So that if you were to get a burn and you're wearing a polyester or a synthetic blend, when they take and debride the wound and you've got that stuff stuck to you, they don't peel the burned plastic off. They peel the burned plastic and the skin it was attached to.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So cotton it is.
Yeah. Natural fibers.
Most people don't believe it, but cotton is naturally fire resistant.
Yep.
Notice I said people fire resistant, not fireproof. Do not go try to burn yourself.
The only thing that's fireproof, and even this is still pushing it, asbestos. It's Latin for fireproof, if I'm not mistaken. That's why we use asbestos and everything, because we're trying to
It's a hell of an insulator.
Yeah, it's a good insulator that doesn't burn. We're trying to save people in homes and yada yada yada. Mesothelioma later. You know, whoops, we didn't know any better.
Yeah, the problem with asbestos isn't really that it doesn't have any chemicals that's a problem. The problem with asbestos is that it makes such small fibers that lodge in the lungs.
Yeah.
And that's where people have issues.
And the thing is people are like, oh, we don't use it anymore. No, we still do.
We still do. Yeah.
We still do.
Just they usually come with big warning labels.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm not mistaken, most like firefighting equipment is asbestos lined.
Yeah, it's contained inside of the clothing.
Yep, but again, contained, but it's still very much asbestos.
Most large industrial thermal reactors, like boilers, are still insulated by asbestos because we have yet to find anything that works better.
It's just like lead paint. Lead paint is by far superior to latex or titanium dioxide paints. But, lead poisoning is a bad thing.
Note to self, don't let children eat lead paint or paint chips in general.
Yeah. Also, if your children are eating paint, you're a terrible parent. So I looked at the camera like, yes, you know who you are.
Well, there are those of us that grew up riding three-wheelers too.
Oh, three-wheelers, God.
Death traps with motors.
Yeah. Okay. My godfather actually broke his neck on a three-wheeler. He didn't die. He broke his neck. It was bad.
The first time my life flashed before my eyes was on the back of my dad's three-wheeler. My dad thought he was going to be cool and accelerate really quickly. Didn't realize exactly how much torque there was, and stood the three-wheeler up.
Really?
Thank God we had a rack on the back of it, because when we stood it up, the rack is what kept it from flipping.
Oh, the little sissy rack?
A little like metal cage for putting stuff on.
Oh, okay, one of those. Yeah. That's cool.
Granted, I lived in the woods, so it was for putting deer and ducks and other things.
Neighbors.
Not yet. We didn't have neighbors at the time. Well, we had a neighbor who owned the house.
You said
and he was
dead.
Oh, what's sad is I was driving with my kids the other day, and we passed where my childhood home was all the time. And where I used to go dove hunting is now a subdivision. And it makes me sad every time.
Well, heck, you go up behind the house, one of those development companies bought all those woods and it's all gone. They clear cut it all. Like that gets miners when they clear cut like that. They don't need to do that.
What they need to do is to go into a site survey, select cut, leave some of the old growth of timber in there, because that actually makes the lots more
valuable. Yeah, I want a lot with some trees on it. Maybe not pines, but
oaks.
Oaks would be nice. Lives would be nice. Birch, we have those.
Yeah, we have magnolias here.
Yeah, but they clear cut all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's annoying.
Track builders, man.
The other thing we got to watch out for, and I was laughing my ass off. Somebody posted this the other day. Be careful in Slidell. There's coyotes out, and they're grabbing little dogs. Well, no shit. We live in the woods.
Yeah.
This is by no means an urbanized area.
Not really.
And even in urbanized area, I mean, you go down to the French Quarter, New Orleans. We're talking a city that's been established for 300 years, and they're still catching coyotes in the French Quarter.
Oh yeah.
It's the heart of the city.
Heck, they got bears every now and then. I've seen like going through dumpsters and stuff.
Well, people think, oh, we don't have bear. Well, most of the time when you see bear sign in Louisiana, it's in like the southwestern part of the state or the northwestern part of the state. You have very little in between in the middles.
Like I said, sign.
Yeah.
Scat.
Footprints.
Oh, right.
When I was 10 or 11, when I was in Cub Scouts, one of the activities we were doing was trying to do plaster cast of wildlife footprints. Well, at the time, my parents' house was one of 3 houses within a square mile of that place. Mm-hmm. So we took the entire Cub Scout troop over to my house, walked around the pond at my parents' house. We're taking like plaster cast of raccoon and deer and stuff like that. And I walk and we see this print. I say, Mom, I found a bear print. Oh, you didn't find a bear print, honey. We don't have bears here.
Yeah.
And I said, no, Mom, look. And she looked at it. She goes, I'll be damned. That does look like a bear print. So we took a plaster cast of it.
Awesome.
Next afternoon, I go out. I go back to the back where the pond was. And I started digging all the plaster cast out after they had hardened up overnight. Take the bear one. I take it to my dad and said, Dad, look, we found a bear print. And he goes, we don't have bear here, son. He looked at it. He goes, well, shit.
Yeah, right.
Well, friend of the family is a taxidermist. So he calls him up. Hey, Sonny, we think we found a bear print. Well, Sonny goes, well, come on by the house, Doug. I'm doing a bear right now for a guy that killed one up in Ontario.
Ontario, Canada?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we go over to Sonny's house, and he's working on a black bear. It's probably 400-pound boar. And he looks at it, looks at the plaster cast, holds it up against the plaster cast, the bear print, or the bear's paw. He goes, Doug, you found a bear print.
Yeah. Heck, I was hiking in Oregon along some like Rocky River kind of thing, and there were signs of bear scat everywhere, like fresh, like there's berries still rocking and rolling up here. And it's no big deal because most of the time they'll avoid you unless it's like mating season or like they got cubs with them.
Or if you surprise them.
Yeah. Trust me, when I hike, I make a lot of obnoxious sounds because I know better than to be quiet.
Yeah.
That's another thing too.
That's how animals hunt.
That is how animals hunt, is quiet, yeah. Make noise, scare them all away.
All right, so opinion.
Yes.
Red backpack or white backpack with a little red lens in it?
I like the white because the white, it pulls color up from the pants. If it was all red, it would be like, it would look as though it was not finished. Does that make sense?
Yep. I do kind of like that white backpack or the look to it.
It looks cool. Like, I'm not gonna lie, my first thought when I saw it was like Confederate soldiers kind of deal.
Wow.
Or not Confederate, British soldiers.
Oh, redcoats?
Yeah, the redcoats, yeah. I know it's not exactly right, but that was my first thought.
It's pretty accurate. I mean, they do kind of look like redcoats. This guy's going to take me a while to do.
Oh, Captain? Yes, you should.
I can already tell. It's going to take me a while.
All right, I got all the little pylons cut. Time to start hot gluing.
You know why nobody's in this live stream with us? Saints game.
Yeah, Saints game. I don't blame them.
Neither do I. I just don't really follow professional football all that much.
I don't really follow professional sports all that much. And I'm a terrible man.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. I think a lot of the professional athletes whine and bitch a lot for no reason other than they want to make more money. And I can't fault them for wanting to make more money. But no.
You know my problem is with professional sports? this season they're opponents.
Mhm.
Next season they're on the other team. It's a business, right? They're not really going hard. They're not really trying to dominate, win, and make a name for themselves. I mean, some of them, I'm sure, but some of them are there for their paycheck, and they want to maintain relationships. And next season, they're gonna potentially be on that other team.
Yeah, I mean, the only time you see them where they're pushing super playoffs, and when they're trying, when it's about time to start renegotiating contracts
for hundreds of millions of dollars. Oof.
I was watching my grandfather before he passed away, and it's great because my grandfather was a World War II vet. He looked at him and goes, "What a bunch of pussies." I remember when football players would play a game and then go work a real job the next Monday morning.
Oh yeah, because let's not forget, they are in fact playing a game.
Mm-hmm.
We can't lose sight of that. I mean, if I could get paid,
that was way too much alcohol.
Huh?
I added some alcohol to thin out a base, and I added a little much.
I mean, if I got paid the money that they get paid to play the game that I love,
oh hell yeah,
yeah,
I would have like 18 professionally painted armies running around the house.
Oh,
and I'd be sitting here studying.
My life. It's still a game.
Yeah, I'd be studying the new FAQs and everything else, reading the meta. But I mean, to me, it's a game. It's a hobby. I'm never going to make money doing this. I don't intend to.
Nope. Right there with you.
Now, if GW wants to hire me as a sales rep and pay me to travel around and push their product, by all means, hit me up. But other than that, I ain't making money at this.
Hey, I'd like to work in the store. Get that employee discount.
Mm-hmm.
I already buy enough stuff.
Should get the employee discount.
God, it'd be so bad.
Layla, don't even send me the paycheck. Just cut me product.
Yeah. Another thing too, I would really like to see how they make it. Like I know how injection molding works. I know how the process functions, and I would like to watch it.
I'd like to see them model some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
it's really funny. Like you and I have been in this hobby so long. They used to do green stuff molds when we started, and now it's all CNC.
Yeah, everything's CNC.
But that's how long we've been at this.
But I mean, that's where you make money at too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Fast repetition with high repeatability.
I mean, I'm not like doubting it. Or I mean, that's my world. That's my field. I get it all. But just the fact that that company has grown in such a way in such a relatively short period of time.
I mean, they used to use spin metal, white metal.
Yep.
Cast.
The white cast.
Yeah. And for those younger generation, that's called pewter. And you should not drink acidic beverages out of pewter cups.
In all honesty, don't use pewter cups. There's no point. Now my renter people out there like, well, but you have to. Like, no, you don't.
I mean, I have I had a Stein that the artwork was all pewter.
Yeah.
But it had an internal glass sleeve that actually held the beer.
Now see, that is brilliant. That is good.
That is not poisoning me with lead.
Yeah, because pewter's basically lead and tin.
Yeah, it's lead and tin.
So
highly acidic drinks will dissolve the lead out. Well, a lot of people don't realize the Romans used to have a drink. It was sugar of lead. It was basically a pewter mug that was lined with vinegar.
Jesus.
And then they would drink it. And it had a sweet taste to it because lead, believe it or not, is sweet flavored.
Well, one of the theories for the fall of Rome is mass lead poisoning causing poor judgment and hysteria.
Well, there you go.
Because all of their aqueducts and plumbing was lead, because plumbing, PB, is the chemical sign for lead, because that's what it was primarily used for. Whoops, we've learned better. I can't wait to figure out what we're doing now. That's killing us.
Yeah. That's why I love. That's why I love looking at like food containers. And this food or this product contains chemicals known to the state of California to cause cancer.
But only in California.
Yeah.
Now, you see how much better this is? It's not sticking to it. Parchment paper is ready, yeah. So these are all done now.
Believe it or not, I was looking at what was it the other day? It was a bottle of water, and it had that mounted on the side of in the little food safety thing. I was like,
just water.
Yeah, it was just regular. I think it was like Nestle water or something like that we'd picked up at Sam's Club or something. And it says, warning, this product contains chemicals known to the state of California to cause cancer. You mean hydrogen?
Yeah.
Or oxygen? Which one?
Well, BPA causes a drop in semen count or fertility. So a lot of your BPA plastics are basically sterilizing you.
Yeah, there's a few people that should be surrounded by that.
Well, yes. However, whoops, we're still learning. You notice that's a trend?
Yeah.
We think we're so high and mighty, but we haven't realized what we don't know yet most of the time.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when people tell me, like, if I'm doing something somebody's impressed with, they're like, oh, you know a lot. And I'm like, no, I know enough to get myself in trouble.
Yes. Or they think you're so intelligent. It's like, no, I've just done a lot of stuff. Which, I mean, I guess you could argue is intelligence, but
it's just experience.
Yeah. So what I use so these bases are going to be snow and like rocky outcrops. What I use for my rocks is a soil cover, which is basically like orchid bark. Once you paint that up, it looks like a nice slate or stone. And we go through and pick and choose and place, and it takes a little bit of time, but the outcome is pretty nice and relatively easy.
For those of y'all that saw some of the Space Wolves I did, all of the rock work that those Thunder Wolves were sitting on is orchid bark.
Yeah. Now, I used to get this stuff from Home Depot. However, I think they clearanced it out. I don't know if it was replaced by another brand or whatever, but when I saw it in clearance, I bought 2 bags.
Yeah.
I feel like 2 bags is enough.
I bought 2 bags 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I still have yet to open the second bag.
Yeah. I mean, it should last you quite a while.
Just depends on how many models you're making and how much base you want to add to it.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right. Yeah, this Corax white is kind of like a dingy white, which I'm okay with, because I'm going to highlight it with a much brighter white.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been a long week.
It was a short week, man.
Oh, long in the terms of I worked my ass off this week, even though we only had a 4-day week.
Yeah. Making that OT.
But
that teacher overtime.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That teacher time overtime that doesn't really exist because we are salaried.
Whatever. It's better than punching a clock, though. I'd rather work unpaid overtime than punch a clock.
Because I'm a 12-month employee, I have to record the number of hours I'm up at the school during the summer. And we made the suggestion, because they were really worried about us not. There were some teachers, I'm not going to name names.
Of course, Jesus.
That broke this system because they would, I was up at the school that day, and yeah, they were there for like an hour or 2. And so now they're really retentive about when we clock in, where we're at all this time.
Oh, so you get the clock now?
No, we don't have to clock, but we have to go up to the front office and we have to physically sign a sheet of paper.
Hey, Papa.
Hello.
And we were told, and I believe that in some cases they will do this, they check the surveillance cameras against, like, when we say we wrote in.
Well, you do realize they have those new key card entry points now, and I guarantee you, they will track that motion.
Well, like I told them flat out, look, if y'all want to track me, that's fine. Let me go ahead and just get a time card. I'll punch in every day, or give me a computer, because there's so many tracking apps you can use for electronic logins.
Oh yeah.
Just set up a program and let me electronically log in, and you can see what computer I'm logging in from, where it's at, all that, when I log in. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I am.
I'm not worried about not getting my hours in.
Hey, real quick. Hey, how's the game going?
We're winning. We just got another touchdown. The score, I think, is like 31-17, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, who dat?
You know, I feel bad because when Drew got injured, I pretty much wrote the season off. And Bridgewater is not sucking.
Well,
Well, he's won both games. He's 2-0, and he's going to win this one.
Hey, knock on wood. Don't put that out there. Don't jinx it.
I think a lot of it was Bridgewater is not Breeze, and when you get thrown into that situation where you don't know the tempo, and you don't know the scheme, and the scheme's not derived around you, it makes it a lot harder.
Oh yeah, their whole game plan was a Drew Brees game plan, and he's not Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Like, no offense to him, he's not that man.
No.
You know, it's hard to ask a man to run someone else's game.
Mm-hmm. And then, especially if you get thrown in the middle of the game.
Yeah, doesn't know win situation, and there's the shock of what just happened. You know, that actually plays a factor.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But it was heartening to see Drew Brees post the video of him throwing a football.
Oh, did he do that? I didn't actually see
Yes.
that one.
Yeah, posted a picture of him in their indoor arena, just doing some light passes.
I'll tell you what, though, if anybody's getting the best medical care available in
It
all of the
is Drew
world,
Brees.
it's Drew Brees.
I mean, I love this area. I guarantee you, there's some like 80-year-old woman sitting in there with like terminal cancer and going, if it helps, I'll give him my IV bag.
Yeah, you're right.
Because I mean, that's the love this area has for the New Orleans Saints.
You got like voodoo priestess out there saying chants and burning sage for the man.
Mm-hmm.
You don't mess with that voodoo.
Nope. And people in other parts of the country think, oh, they're just joking. No. We're actually not.
No, that's a very serious thing. So it brings you down.
Just trying to clean up a little bit.
Yeah. I was showing off your new laser.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I can't wait to design terrain and just laser cut it out on that foam.
Oh, and just snap it together and a little bit of glue and done.
Oh, yeah. When we tried CNCing terrain, and it worked really well, but it's just not as clean as I would want. Like
Get too much tear out.
Yeah, a razor's still better. You know,
what about a drag knife on your CNC?
you gotta get a special holder for it and all that.
Yeah, and
Lincoln sells one that fits into a 1/4-inch
Chuck,
chuck. Yeah.
yeah, there's several.
is there a different
companies.
software you gotta use
No.
for programming a drag knife?
Nope.
There is a software on what is it, Dantec? Drag knives has software, and it actually makes like a little circle when it turns on the curve
To
on
ensure a
the
corner.
corners.
Yeah.
But there's also another drag knife out there that's got a tiny blade that does not, and you can do it with the normal software.
Yeah, the one I was looking at, Torchmate makes it for their CNC tables.
Uh-huh.
All I have to do is mount it into the chuck of my router that I have hooked up to the table.
Yeah.
And the Z-axis motor that I use on mine, because of the way it's set up, has a torque setting on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll go down, realize it's got the torque resistance, stops, and then it'll push it, and then it goes through, and it's got a blade that's on a swivel head.
Cool.
So, I mean, it'll cut 90-degree angles.
That's pretty cool.
Not bad at all.
Nah.
Shoot a drag knife now.
Believe it or not, my plasma table is set up. If I took the time to do it, I could run 3D milling in it. Yeah. I've got a 2.5 horsepower DeWalt router mounted to it. All I have to do is go into the software that I have, create the millwork, post-process it, and put out the G code.
You can use any Venable software to do that.
Possibly if they have a post processor for, for the torch meat.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because each each controller has its own G code formula set.
So much fun.
So much.
You know what I'm actually looking at getting to? Any Cubics Photon resin 3D printer. Is there like $250?
That's not bad.
Oh, it's not. And the quality is really, really, really good. It's really good.
What's the build volume?
Enough to do bits. Shoulder pads,
Okay.
weapons, custom insignias.
Oh, speaking of interesting things, have you seen the spiky bits thing of the new Bandai model?
I have not seen the spiky bits of it, but I have seen the new model.
That is an interesting looking little device.
Well, have you ever seen like Gundam models?
Yeah, I've got a couple at the house.
Yeah, I do as well. And they're amazing models.
Yes.
They are great. The plastic is already colored. You don't have to paint them. And it's all designed to be built in such a fashion that it looks the part. You know, it looks like a finished deal. I'm betting that model's the same way.
Which I'm fine with.
Oh, I think it's perfect. I wish GW would get on that hype train.
But it's still getting painted.
And we're still gonna get painted. But could you imagine the easy build stuff that comes out when you build it looking like a painted model?
Yep. Instead of just a blue smurf.
Yeah, wouldn't that, or a green snot bubble?
Yep.
Wouldn't that be the dream?
I mean, the easy build stuff is nice if you want that configuration.
Yeah, I know it's an unpopular opinion, but 90% of all this stuff is done easy build. Like even a lot of stuff in your quote unquote multi-part kits that aren't easy build, they're still pretty on the easy build side of things.
I mean, like this guy. This is not an easy build model, but there's like this arm goes with this gun in this position, and that is it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not so much easy build, it's lack of choice build.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But, you know, you say that too loudly and some people get angry with you.
Either that or they take it as a challenge like I did when, I forget who sent me that meme with the Dread Knight. It's like, I bet you can't do this. I was like, all right, challenge accepted.
It's probably Tim.
It's either Tim or Tom, one, two. And now I have a Dread Knight strutting across the battlefield. And anytime I take Dread Knights, he's the first one out the box.
He's the status symbol, Dread Knight.
Mm-hmm. I call him my Taylor Swift of Dread Knights.
Oh. We love you, Tay.
I don't particularly care.
Oh, come on, she's lovely.
I ain't saying she ain't good looking.
No, I meant like emotionally, spiritually, all that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, she's not bad to look at, but like, she's a nice person.
I haven't followed her enough to make that judgment.
I mean, her music seems sweet. I don't know.
I mean,
Look, I don't want to get involved with her lawyers.
I'm not stalking her. So
No, I'm just like in general. Like, you know, she's a lovely young lady. And moving right along. Lawsuit.
Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna call somebody and ask when we get sued.
Can we get sued for that?
I don't know.
think you can.
No, well, we do live in Louisiana, so I mean. Oh, did you see the news article where a guy sued his ex-wife's lover and won in a court case $375,000?
For what?
I forget what state it is, but apparently the state still has what are commonly called or colloquially called the home wrecker laws, where you can sue the individual that breaks up an otherwise happy marriage under these home wrecker laws, but you have to be able to prove that prior to this individual's interaction with the spouse, that it was in fact a happy marriage. So apparently he was able to prove in court that he and his wife had a happy marriage until she met this gentleman, and her interactions with this gentleman then broke up said happy marriage, resulting in him winning $375,000.
That's one of those things nowadays. Everything's online. Everything's recordable. I mean, it's probably really easy to be like, hey, look, we were planning a Christmas vacation on this day, and on this day she texted this guy, and on this day we were divorced.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of the laws, they don't require that they get married or even have a sexual relationship. Just they had something to do with the disenfranchisement of the other spouse, and therefore caused the divorce.
Kind of cool.
And a lot of people call it old-fashioned. I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, there's a law still in our books. Like if you claim bankruptcy, the only thing they can't take from you here is your chickens and your truck.
Sweet.
Just saying. I think it has to do with like livelihood, being able to still have a livelihood kind of thing. But that's like, honestly on the books. Your chickens and your truck is safe for bankruptcy. So you liquidate everything, you buy a bunch of chickens and a bunch of trucks, claim bankruptcy, sell all the chickens and the trucks.
I still remember when I had a friend going through his first divorce. He called me up and said, hey, I think my wife's about to file the paperwork. You want to buy some guns? Yes, please.
Yes.
I bought 75 guns for $1 a piece.
Gave back to him for $1 a piece later.
About 6 months later, I sold them back to him.
Yeah, that's about right.
Except for one gun.
Yeah, you lost that one, right?
That was my sailing fee. I mean, it works. He sold them to me prior to the divorce. The best part is his wife's lawyer was yelling and screaming because at the time she found out about it. She just found out he sold. She didn't find out that he sold them for $1 a piece. So they're in court yelling and screaming that she deserves half of what he made on the gun sale.
All right, here's $36.
Yeah, that's what he did. He pulled out 220s and handed her $40 in here. We're even. Keep the change.
You filthy animal.
Home Alone.
Good movie.
The best part about that was she went livid in the court because of it.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
judge
Sure.
fined her like $150 for yelling in his courtroom. I didn't like her to begin with, so I don't feel bad about that at all.
Oh, man, it's their choice ultimately. Their universe.
But that same friend has also been through I don't know. He's on wife number 4 or 5 right now. I forget which number.
It's just collecting at that point.
Yeah, that's more. Well, this time I asked his current wife, I said, what happens, because she knew his background, what happens if he decides to get divorced again? And she goes, well, you'll just never find his body.
Oh, that's strong. That'll do it.
Yeah. And they're going on, I think, 10 years now. So
Threat of violence. See, violence solves problems all the time, kids.
except when a fly lands on your crotch.
Yeah, then you understand what peaceful resolution.
Uh-huh.
Confucius said.
I mean, sometimes words need to be used.
Yeah.
Other times, words need to be backed up by large firepower.
World War I, World War II, Korea.
Speak softly, but carry a nuclear bomb.
Or several.
Mhm.
Like the Russians. We have the bomb. We don't know where they all are, but we have them.
Mhm.
So, you made any progress figuring out that laser stuff?
Me or your dad?
Dad.
I just need to connect the computer to the machine now.
That's cool. You have a test in mind?
I'm just gonna do a first little hello world type text to see how it works. Then I'm gonna do a grid and look at the power settings on the wood.
How many watts is that?
7.
Okay. So it doesn't need to be water cooled or anything like that.
No.
Because the one I have at my house that I have yet to play with enough is a 40-watt system, and it must be water cooled or it'll crack the tube.
Yeah.
I mean, 7 is enough for anything that we would really need to do.
40 is enough. I can cut through, I think, 1/4-inch ply.
Why would you need to use a laser to get the 1/4-inch ply?
Terrain.
1/4 inch? You said 1/4 inch or 3/4?
Quarter.
That 7-watt can do a 1/4. Maybe not ply. The problem with ply is you got to cut through the glue. It's not the wood that's the issue.
Yeah. Well, like this will cut, I think, up to 1/2-inch ply if you're using 5-ply.
Yeah.
But more than that, it gets a little strained, and it will do 1/4-inch MDF.
Yeah, MDF. Yeah.
But it won't do 1/2-inch MDF. Just too much glue there.
Yeah, that's the problem. Not the wood, it's the glue.
Yeah. And then if you're going to be cutting MDF and things like that, you must have a forced air blower to remove the smoke. Otherwise, the smoke dilutes the laser beam so that it's not as full power.
Not to mention, the state of California, it causes cancer. But only in California.
That's why, like, my little setup, I've got that 4-inch bathroom duct booster hooked up to it.
See, that brings up my next question. When are you going to start working on yours?
Yes.
Got it.
About the same time I finished painting all my models.
Oh, wow. So, in the year 2525.
Sometime like the month after I retire. Lord knows I've got enough models floating around my house.
Don't we all? I mean, yours definitely eclipses mine, but don't we all?
I mean, I got a model that I really want to put together, and I look at it every time I sit at my desk, but I just don't have time for it.
Model.
It's a 1 to 35.
Does aircraft carrier?
No, I've already got that together.
Oh, fuck, okay.
That was 3D printed. It was just a print and glue thing. No, I've got a Regal made British mosquito. De Havilland mosquito. Which, I mean, when it's assembled, it's going to be that wide. Oh no, I saw one I really wanted to get. It's a 1 to 16 made by Tayami.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's $280.
You can stay in.
Yeah. The one I got for Regal, or from Regal, I picked up at a hobby shop because it was a discontinued model for $19.97.
Good year.
That was, let's see, 97 was my freshman year in high school. Yeah, no.
I don't remember 97. It was 9. It was 9, yeah.
I was 14. No, 97, 15. Yeah, I'm old, I know.
What a time, man. It just goes.
What makes me feel really old is like when we're discussing stuff in ag, and I reference like when I was in high school, and I use phrases like back when I was in school,
Yeah.
and in the good old days.
Yeah, that's the thing. The good old days.
Not all that good.
No.
They were old, but they not necessarily that good.
Yeah.
Okay. Although I do look on the year 2001 quite fondly,
That's good.
especially after 9/11. Because after 9/11, there was a lot more unity in this country.
Yeah, it's a shame it took that to, but it didn't last. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're more divided today than,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's whatever.
And there's certain individuals that use that division to exploit their own power.
All of them.
Yeah, fair amount of them. There's some that I find are genuinely good people that are trying to do better, But then there's others that they're unfortunately outweighed by the ones that are just after it for their own benefit.
Yeah. Look, I'm just hot gluing bark to plastic. I can't change the world, nor do I want to.
The thing that annoys me is our current generation's inability to take responsibility for their own actions. It's always somebody else's problem, or somebody else did this, or somebody else did that. No, you're part of it too. Suck it up and deal with it.
Yeah.
It's like my son the other day. He did something. I forget what it was, but when I asked him why he did it, he said his sister Chrissy made him do it. It's like, did she hold your hand? No, sir. Did she tell you to do it? No, sir. Well, then she didn't make you do anything.
Yeah.
You chose to do it, and therefore you chose to accept the outcome of this.
That's another thing too. People will mistake the concept of freedom and
Anarchy?
and consequence. You're free to do whatever you want, but you're not free from the consequences of your decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a big distinction there.
It's a distinction I try to make with my students every year before prom.
Oh, Jesus. I actually went to the JV game the other day.
The Pearl River JV game?
Yeah.
How was that?
40-0. It was a great game for us.
Well, granted, y'all are on the high end of 4A, and we are on like 20 people shy of 3A.
It's not even that, dude. Our school's just really good. It's a good team, good players, good coaching. Like it's a good setup in general.
Now I will have to back Pearl River here. Joe Harris has done an amazing job with that program.
Oh yeah, like I was talking to the coach and stuff. They said like y'all's JV is always kind of rough,
but like y'all's varsity is, they're contenders.
I mean, they lost last night to Albany, or Friday night to Albany.
Yeah,
but they still had over one of our senior running back this year. He passed 1,000 yards rushing this last night or Friday night.
Awesome.
And we're talking high school kids.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that says something when you get a high school kid with 1,000 yards of rushing.
Yeah. College.
And I mean, let's be honest. In Louisiana, football is life.
It's pretty popular. Yeah. We're a drinking state with a football problem.
Mm-hmm. Especially around Saturday afternoons. Checking on the game?
No, just checking on the universe.
Still there.
Yeah, it is.
Still pretty shitty in most places.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I wish I was. Oh man, I am so far behind in projects at our school. It's ridiculous.
What do you mean?
I've got a welding project I should have had done in July.
Oh my god!
But we're not done with it yet because it seems like every time I get a chance to sit down and get it going, something went wrong with the air compressor line, which I needed because I had to cut stuff on the plasma table. Well, anybody that's run a plasma machine knows you have to have compressed air.
That's for those gates and stuff?
No, this was for a fire pit for a customer. She ordered this fire pit for her son's wedding. And it seems like every time I sat down to go cut it, we'd blow a joint on an airline or a seal would bust on a coupler.
Huh. It's a gift for a wedding?
Yeah.
That's the sign for the wedding.
Well, no, what it is, it's I made the woman who ordered it a couple of years ago, I made a fire pit for her because her husband had said before he passed away, I'm going to make you a fire pit in the shape of a wheelbarrow and I want to put our names in the side of it and whatnot. Well, shortly after saying such, he developed cancer. He never got around to making the pit.
Yeah.
So friend of mine at the school that's closer to her house had been contacted to her by her about making this pit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he doesn't have the ability to do it, so he called me. Said, "Hey, do you mind doing it?" Sure, no problem. So I made the one for her. Well, her son saw it after it got delivered, commented how he really liked it.
Yeah.
Well, her son's getting married in 20 days.
Yeah. When are you gonna get this done?
I got it cut the other day. Now I got to bend it, fold it, and weld it. So I've already got the wheel. The body of it's cut. I just got to clean it up, fold it, weld it together. I've got the front wheel made for it, and she wants to. Unlike the one I made for her, the one I made for her is stationary.
Yeah.
She wants this one to roll. Okay, a little more challenging, but basics.
Yeah. Anytime you add moving components in general.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I got it all together or ready to start going together. So come Monday, I'm gonna start putting everything together, weld it all up. I've already got the wheel rolled. I've got the spokes for the wheel cut. I just got to cut the hub and the axle for it.
How heavy is this thing?
When I'm done with it, it'll be about 200 pounds.
Good Lord.
Well, the wheelbarrow itself's made of 3/16 plate steel.
Yeah, I know, but like, oh, you can like roast a pig. How big is it?
2 feet wide, 3 feet in depth,
Yeah, small
and
pig.
12 inches deep.
Maybe like a small goat.
Yeah.
We got some goats now, actually.
At the school? Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. I might have had them out there.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the goats.
Well, the text my daughter sent me yesterday while at the Paris Fair is her school was running the mini farm there for that night, and I will quote you what she's texted me. Her exact words were, "I want a goat, and this is my final choice."
My final choice.
Uh-huh.
Did she have a goat in mind?
Not yet.
Oh God, are you guys getting a goat?
Apparently so.
Okay. I've always wondered, where does one buy a goat?
You're talking to an ag teacher.
Oh, I know.
That's
I
the
mean,
goats.
I know this, but it's like, you don't go to the pet store and buy a goat. You don't go to like Walmart and buy a live goat.
I can make 2 phone calls and have probably a half dozen goats to pick from.
Jesus Christ. This guy. So if you ever want to do like a senior prank, you get 2 dozen goats numbered 1 through 13. The other ones are like Roman numerals.
You're not too far off. I want to say 3 or 4 years before I started at Pearl River High School, the senior prank at that time, they somehow broke into 200 Hall, or what was 200 Hall at the time. I think one of the kids left, like unlocked a classroom door, or not door, but a classroom window, and they shimmied the window. Oh, they had got in there and turned the entire length of the hall into a petting zoo.
Only in Pearl River.
It was lined with hay bales, hay on the floor. They had pigs, chickens, a cow.
They brought a cow in?
Yes.
God, you know what?
Ducks, a turkey.
Jesus.
Yeah, people are going to watch this live stream like, what the hell are these people talking about?
40K. It's definitely Warhammer 40K.
And then taking, they left it there on Sunday afternoon. So Monday comes around, janitor comes to open the hall up. Nope.
Good Lord.
My dad gets a phone call, Fish, we need you at the school now.
Wow, what's going on? Life has found a way. Good Lord, man.
Eventually, they found out who did it and made them clean up the hallway.
Well, I'm sure. There's cameras all over the damn place.
Oh, this is before cameras.
Oh, my God.
This is like 1990.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it was pretty rough. Then that hall used to have carpet in all the classrooms. It was back when that was a thing.
Yeah.
And they released something like 10,000 crickets into the hall. They went to the local feed store, and ordered 10 boxes of crickets, 10 1,000 count boxes of crickets. Again, somebody left a window unlocked, and they just dumped crickets in the hallway. It took them damn near 12 years to kill all the crickets.
Oh, yeah.
They laid eggs in the carpet and hatched. Oh,
Oh
Jesus.
my God.
Oh.
I've often thought about getting carpet, at least like under my workstations.
Mhm.
But
I bought a $20 little like dorm carpet and put under my desk, and it was nice because it saved my floor from the wheels of my chair.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I'd have to take it out every 6 months and beat the ever living tar out of it to get all the dust out of it.
Yeah.
Because all the sand and stuff you bring, you think sand's bad enough, but with those wheels constantly grinding it, it made it powder.
Yeah. Well, so when I asked about it, they're like, well, it could be a trip hazard. I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I mean, I'd honestly, for the workstations, it's almost better if you just buy, see if they'll buy you a bunch of the foam mats and just put the foam mats underneath it.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
Nah.
No, in all honesty, I'm probably not gonna do anything with it. Like the reason I wanted to do it is so they don't have to move the computer stations when they do the floors. Because every year they break at least 2 computers. You know, they break
It's
a
a hassle.
cord, they drop something. And those stations aren't light either, so they have to work pretty hard to make it happen.
Well, like what we do in our classrooms is, at least me and my teaching partner, what we do is we just take and the last day of school after our class is done with their exam. All right, take everything in the shop, and we have the students move it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other teachers do the same thing. Like end of the day, they're moving books and everything that's got to come out of the classrooms out.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not making those kids move those desks. Those desks are ridiculous.
Well, you have them move the computers. That's the part that you're really worried about them breaking.
Yeah.
The desks are easily repaired. Computers aren't,
Yeah.
especially with our IT department.
I didn't say it. I'm not gonna disagree, but I ain't gonna say it.
Some of the questions or some of the rationales are ridiculous. Like, I spent $250 of school board money to buy a controller for my aquarium for my native species in the classroom projects, and all the way up at central office knew I was buying them. No problem. Got all the approvals, got it bought. Get it in. Talk to my IT guy at the school. Hey, I need you to run me a cord from the server or the blade that's in my office over here so I hook it into the network so I can run the programming for it. Oh, did you talk to IT about it? It's like, no, I didn't talk to IT about it because all the purchasing went through central office. None of it was school-based purchases, all straight at the main office.
Yeah.
So he goes, well, let me just email him. He emails him, calls me like the next day. They said, no, you can't hook him up. So I just wasted $250. Yeah, basically. Great. So now it's sitting in a box in my classroom.
Yeah, because it's what? Its own Wi-Fi deal? It's got its own...
It's when you take and log, like I can hook it to the network and I can log into it directly to it, not go into an outside router.
Yeah.
No, I'm going straight to it. Nope, can't have it because IT didn't approve the purchase.
That's funny.
That's the school board.
Yeah, well, heck, all my certification software is blocked. So...
Well, not only that, all the administration passwords are blocked and
Yep.
locked out right now.
Yep.
Like, I tried to, I was showing a video, a Modern Marvels video on iTunes the other day dealing with cold cuts and stuff like that for my meat processing class that I have stored. Thank God I had already downloaded it onto a separate drive. iTunes wants to update, but I can't.
Can't update. Yeah, we can't update anything. We can't run anything. The thing with like our software for testing is it has to tunnel to the company so the company can monitor the computer.
Yep.
Well, that tunnel is basically a worm. It's all blocked now.
Yep. So, I mean, like, I feel, I'm trying to remember what school it was. There was a school that had some testing irregularities that had to retest several hundred students
Yeah.
at the beginning of the school year. and they had a nightmare. They spent 2 weeks just trying to get the testing software working. I think we're gonna call it for today.
Yeah, man.
Thank y'all for watching. Those of y'all that are not watching the Saints game.
Yeah.
It was good.
Saints won.
Did they win?
31-24.
Woo! Hey, NFL.
Yeah.
No, we didn't do it. All right, guys. Take care.